Here we are today, standing out in front of the ServiceOntario counter here in Kingston, Ontario. We've got a great group of activists out, and the reason they're out today is, well, actually there's $2.7 billion, 7 billion reasons why they're out today, and that's the $2.7 billion in income and revenue that ServiceOntario generates on a year-to-year basis for the Ontario government. Now, the Drummond Commission, there's persistent rumors that we're going to see privatization of this service, and that $2.7 billion in revenue, $2.7 billion, is at risk of being lost to private profit. Now, we've got a government that's actually put in place a structural deficit through their irresponsible, unnecessary, and totally useless tax cuts to corporations. We've got to address this. Ontarians have to take a strong, long look at the structure of our governments and say, do we want the services? Do we deserve the services that we've come accustomed to and that we struggled to put in place? And if the answer is yes, then we've got to say to our governments, those services have to be properly funded, not given away to their Bay Street cronies. And this is what we're fearing here today, that this is going to happen. And this is why we've got so many activists out here today to remind the public of the services, the 48 million transactions that are done every year over the ServiceOntario counters, and the service that they get, because it's a service they could lose if the Drummond Commission, that we suspect, recommendations are followed through with.
We're here today on February 3rd, 2012. One of the first pickets rolling out for ServiceOntario. We know that ServiceOntario has been issued requests for proposals, meaning that they're planning on attempting to sell this valuable asset, an asset that brings in $2.7 billion a year in government revenues. Keep in mind, it only costs $270 million to actually finance and run ServiceOntario provincially. Don Drummond has been basically hired by Dalton McGuinty to give all the bad news, and this is one of the potential bad news items on the list. One thing to keep in mind during this whole process is budget process, where they plan to cut all kinds of public services. There's been no public debate, no public forum on the budget process. This is the first time in history in Ontario that people haven't had an input into the budget, nor cuts to public services that will affect them. This process is highly undemocratic. This public service is highly profitable at a time when there's been announced closures and movement of Caterpillar in London, Ontario to Indiana. We need tax revenues more than ever, and this is a crown jewel of a crown corporation, and OPSEU and all of its affiliates will work hard to fight against any privatization, up to including ServiceOntario. So good luck, Dalton. We're coming for you.